Hi everyone, I'm Betty, a Film Club reporter, and welcome to today's Film Club live show.
Hi everyone, I'm Rico from the Film Club team, and today Betty and I will be interviewing music composer Debbie Wiseman, and we'll be discussing the art of composing music for the screen. Don't forget as well that we are live, and details are scrolling along the bottom of the screen as we speak to contact us.
So let's get started. Hello Debbie.
Hello.
Hi Debbie.
And welcome to the Film Club live show.
Thank you, it's great to be here. Hello everyone.
Debbie, could you tell us a bit about yourself and how you came to write music for the screen?
Well, I've always loved music. I started playing the piano when I was about 7.
Yeah.
And instead of just wanting to play other people's pieces at the piano, I really enjoyed writing my own, and I sat at the piano, would come up with my own tunes and just pick out little melodies at the piano. And the whole idea of writing my own tunes was really appealing, and then I started to think about pictures that would match the tunes. Like I might look out and see a really lovely sunny day and write very sunny music, or it might be raining, there'd be a big thunderstorm, and I'd write really dark, thundery music. And so the idea of music accompanying pictures was really fascinating, and I loved it.
Fantastic. And what's your favourite instrument to work with? And would you also recommend that instrument as a good one for young musicians to get started?
Well, I started at the piano, and I played the piano from about 7.
I played
like
the
you
piano,
did, Bessie.
yeah.
We were chatting about that. And the great thing about the piano is you sort of got a whole orchestra in front of you, because you've got the very, very low registers and the middle registers and the very high registers. So you can almost pick whatever instrument you want. You can play flutes up high and basses down low. And you can start being really creative at the piano. But you could also do the same on guitar. And some composer friends of mine, like viola players or violinists or flautists, so it doesn't really matter what instrument you learn, as long as you're creative with it and can think, oh, I'd like to write something for violin, or I'd like to write something for piano. But my favourite instrument's the piano, but that's probably just because I play it.
That's the first one.
Yeah.
And it's the first one I learnt.
What's the most obscure instrument you've worked with?
Well, I remember writing music for a film that was set in the Middle East a couple of years ago, and the director wanted music that sounded quite Arabic and Middle Eastern. And I did some research about those sort of instruments, and I found an instrument called an oud, which is like a sort of... Actually, it doesn't
Similar
look,
sort of...
Yeah, it doesn't look dissimilar to this. And it's got 4 strings, and it makes a really, really wonderful sound. It's like a kind of Arabic guitar. And then, I should just put that back without dropping it. And then I also wrote for another instrument called, it's got a really funny name, duduk, D-U-D-U-K. No, and it's like a sort of Arabic oboe. And you play it, and it sounds just slightly more exotic and really, really wonderful, really beautiful sound. And I wrote for those 2 instruments for this particular film, and it just coloured it in a way that was absolutely right for the film, and made it sound slightly less orchestral and normal. You know.
Gave it that mood.
Gave it the mood.
And what was the name of the film?
It's called The Promise.
The Promise, okay. Check it out. We've actually got a quiz for you now about film music. So please tweet in your answers, and we'll reveal the answer at the end of the show. I'm going to play you an extract of a film soundtrack, and we'd like you to tell us which Steven Spielberg film is this soundtrack from? Is it A, Jaws? Is it B, E.T.? Or is it C, Schindler's List? So listen out. That's right. So hope that rang a few bells for you. Just to recap, the 3 choices were A, Jaws, B, E.T., or C, Schindler's List. So let us know. And also tweet us in your favourite film soundtracks as well. We'd absolutely love to know. If you're asking me, my favourite film soundtrack is the soundtrack to Dumbo. I love the trumpet sounds that go with the elephants on parade. What's yours, Betty? What's your favourite?
My favourite soundtrack is from Kangaroo Jack, and it's a song called Rapper's Delight. I like the fact that it goes with the theme of the movie. How about yours, Debbie?
I've got loads. I do love E.T., and I saw this poster here when I came in. I love the score for E.T. I like a lot of John Williams scores. I love Harry Potter, which has got a great tune. I also like quite exotic scores like Dances with Wolves, big epic, majestic scores as well.
We were very lucky to visit Debbie at her studio, where she talked us through the process involved in composing a piece of music to screen. Shall we take a look?
Yes, I'll look.
Well, I'm working on Land Girls, which is a lovely series for the BBC, and I'm trying to get the mood right for the opening of the series. It starts very gently, and you see them in the field just doing what they're doing, and then it cuts to a little boy running after a plane. And what I need to do there is create a feeling of excitement and energy, and so going completely away from the rather lyrical opening, which is what starts the series, and then going to something which builds the excitement and lifts, and then you see the plane in the air and it takes off, and the music then needs to build the emotion and feel very romantic and uplifting, and that's what I'm trying to do. Every instrument of the orchestra has its own character. Flutes are quite gentle, bassoons are quite low, and sometimes used for sort of comedy moments because they sort of boom, 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 they've got that kind of sound. Flutes play higher, they're up here somewhere. They're often used for bird song. Horns and trumpets and trombones and brass, they're often used for sort of epic moments in films because of their grandeur and because of their stature and because they sound really bold. Piano is often used for all different kinds of things, it's so versatile. And strings are used generally for warmth, and you hear them a lot in love stories. Whenever you want something romantic, you'll go to strings. But also they can be fantastically full of energy, and you can use them for drama. Strings are sort of the most versatile group of instruments in the orchestra. So that's violins, violas, cellos and basses. And you can use them for almost anything. The lovely thing about working in this particular film is that I can use an orchestra. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, I think, just with the piano playing the tune, because it's a very little pianistic little tune. And then when the main theme comes in, I think I'll bring in the strings and the violins will come in, and it'll suddenly sound much richer and fuller. So that will create a sense of warmth, and suddenly it'll build the score. And then when the fast bit starts and we're trying to build to this lovely, happy and joyful and exciting moment, and it needs to be really full of anticipation and looking at the plane in the air, I'll let the strings go really fast and maybe use the violins playing really, really fast. And that will build the excitement. Then I'll bring in the woodwind and then the brass. And everybody then will come in at the big moment when the plane's in the air, and it'll sound much richer and fuller. And then it'll come down at the end, but we'll still have everybody just at the end as the plane reaches the ground. And that'll give it a really nice shape. So it'll start quite gently just with the piano, then the strings do more, then the horns come in and the rest of the brass, and then we build everybody to the end. So it'll give it a really nice shape and create a lovely sense of expectation and this sort of joyful, happy ending. So when I've worked out what I'm going to be writing and what the tunes are going to be and what the shape of the music's going to be, then I start deciding who's going to play and what instruments are going to be doing what. So I might start thinking about, okay, what's the flute going to be doing? And so I'll find my flute on the computer, and this is my flute. And I'll play in the flute part. And then when I've done that, I'll start thinking maybe about the brass and what are the brass going to be doing. So I'll find my horns, and these are my French horns, which sound lovely and grand and epic. And I'll start working out what they're going to be doing. And then I might decide to use, what else? Maybe a bit of trumpet. So I'll find my trumpet. And I'll start working on the trumpet part. And each instrument gets played in individually, one by one, until I've got the final score and the final cue. And when I've got the whole thing together, I'll then play it back and hear how it sounds. And then I'll put it with a picture, and hopefully the two work seamlessly together and it'll all feel like a piece of film music.
It's amazing to see the different stages involved and see the final piece of music play out alongside the movie.
Yeah, it is. We've also had some fantastic film suggestions come in with brilliant soundtracks. Harry says Paranorman or any other John Bryan score. So check out Paranorman on the Film Club website and some of the other films that he's wrote the soundtrack for. We've also got another suggestion from Joe, Toy Story, which features Randy Newman songs and You've Got a Friend in Me. I remember that one. And another suggestion from Charles for Princess Mononoke, which I think is a Studio Ghibli film. The same guys that did Spirited Away, I think, and that's by Joe Hisaishi. So yeah, check those out. And we've got another fun fact to share with you as well. We found out that film soundtracks have been around for as long as film has. And at the first screening in 1895, there was actually a pianist providing music for the film. And before recorded sound, there'd usually be an in-house pianist at most cinemas there. At this point, we also love to tell you about all the new primary music resources that have gone online and on the Film Club website. We're looking at everything from Pinocchio to Indiana Jones and Alfred Hitchcock as well. Just lots to explore on there.
Debbie, how long does it usually take to compose the music for a film from start to finish?
Well, usually it's really, really quick, and it depends. Every film has its own schedule and its own delivery dates, and you have to kind of work around those. On a film like, Wild, which I wrote some years ago, I had 3.5 weeks to write about 75 minutes of music. So it was almost no time at all. So you're working like crazy every day, every night to get it finished. Other times, you have maybe a couple of months, but it's always quite quick. So you have to come up with ideas really fast.
Okay.
Yeah, that leads us nicely to the next question. We were going to say, at what point do you get brought onto a production, and then when you're there, who do you work most closely with on the set?
Usually, I can get brought in sometimes at the script stage. They might have a script and they'll send me a script to say, what do you think about the music? But sometimes not until the film's been edited, and then you see it without music, just dialogue and effects, and you have to think up the music. And then I work closely with the director, and the director will sometimes have an idea about what the music should be, and he or she might say to me, I want it to sound very epic, I want it to be very orchestral, or I want it to sound really, really modern and contemporary. So they'll sort of steer me in a particular direction, and then I'll go off and come up with ideas, and slowly but surely we build up the score, and along the way the director will come over and listen to little moments. If there's an action scene, they might want to hear that. If there's a big dramatic scene, they might want to hear that.
What do you love most about your job?
Oh, I love everything really about the job. Coming up with tunes is lovely. Sitting at the piano and making music, writing music that is especially for a film is wonderful. And I love working with people. I love working with other filmmakers. It's really nice to collaborate. Because if you write music for a concert hall or a concert performance, it's just you and the people performing it. When you're involved in a film, there's so many people that you actually work with, and that's really nice too.
Lots of different people from all walks of life and doing a different job on
yeah.
the set. Brilliant. Well, we're now going to watch one of Debbie's favourite compositions, I think, from the film Tom's Midnight Garden. Posters there. So let's take a look.
Debbie, do you have a favourite film that you have worked on?
I haven't got a favourite, because the thing is, when you're working on a film, you're so concentrated on that film for a short period of time, and you have to really work hard at that particular project, and then you move on to the next one. So I don't really have a favourite. I like all the projects I've worked on.
That's great.
And we got an answer to the quiz, didn't we, Betty, as well?
Yeah. At second At second place, it's Goddard's Park in Swindon.
Thanks very much for entering.
Well done.
And at first place, Witt Primary School said it's music from E.T. in Gloucestershire.
Well done. Well done, Wick Primary. Thanks very much for that. We've actually run out of time. Oh, hang on. There's a Twitter question coming as well. Should we answer that?
Yeah.
Should we go for it? Okay. Thanks so much for tweeting in. This is from Goddard Park as well, who came second in the quiz. And their question for Debbie is, how long does it take to make a soundtrack? How long does it take to record it?
To record it. Oh,
Yeah.
hi. Thank you for your question, Goddard Park. It takes, usually, it depends on the budget of the film. Sometimes you have to work really fast in the studio and you have to get it done in a day.
Yeah.
Other times, on a big score for a big soundtrack, you might have a couple of weeks in the studio to record it and mix it. But usually not more than about a week or so.
So it's normally a pretty quick turnaround.
Pretty fast turnaround,
Wow.
yeah. It's because it's quite expensive to record in a studio with lots of musicians, so you have to work quite fast.
Absolutely. Well, that's brilliant. Thank you very much for all your time. We've run out of time now. And thanks for everyone for tweeting in and emailing questions as well.
Don't forget to check out our competition. We have an Instagram competition where you can win some fab prizes just by sending in a great picture of your film club in action.
You can also win some epic goodies as well. And we've got a filmmaking competition on as well. So all that needs to be said now. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. And we hope you enjoyed hearing from Debbie. And please do join us again tomorrow, 3:30, same time, same place, for more Film Club Live. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.